Hey guys, how's it going? So I wanted to make this little video. This is something that I've been wanting to make for quite a while. It's something for me, like to do these types of things and to do them on a regular basis really helps me to just kind of see where I'm at in life. It's kind of a bit of a therapy session for me, but also so you can get to know me and find out who I am and to find out more about me and what kind of makes me tick and just get a real deep dive. So I'm calling this my spiritual and mental deconstruction. And it's something that kind of this video is more in like a podcast form, you could say. I've actually been thinking about doing a podcast for quite a while. So that's probably something that's coming soon. So it's definitely on the horizon, I'll say. But the reason why I want to do this and forgive me for sitting here with my arms folded. I'm not upset or anything. I'm just it's a little cold in here in this room that I'm at, and I kind of think that it's a bit of just a comfortable way for me to sit. So you'll see me do that. I'm actually gonna click on the heat just a little bit. All right, but yeah. So this is something that I'm a little nervous to do. It's not something that's really easy for me to talk about these things, but I think that's an important thing for me, and hopefully you'll get something great out of it. And I want to just say that I have love for so many people in this world. I have love for. If I can love everyone, that's definitely something that I want to do. But I do want to just kind of preface this as this is a deep dive into my life. I'm going to share some very personal things, and I'm just going to say up front that there's going to be a lot of you that do not agree. I'm going to cover things from the fact that I was born with a stutter and that I stutter in a lot of my videos, and when I talk and in general, I'm going to be talking about that I am on the autistic scale, and I have major ADHD and some Asperger's and maybe even more than that. So and I'll dive into that in a little bit. And I want to get into my thoughts on religion, on my thoughts on family and friends, and talk about my marriage, talk about just my thoughts on politics and things like that. So the thing is, like, we're not always gonna agree. That's the beauty of life. We don't have to agree on everything, but we can try to find some common ground and just have respect for the people's views and opinions, because that's one thing that I've never really understood about life. And I'll probably talk more about this a little later too in the video. But is that why people get so upset when they have different views and opinions and beliefs on things, and why people have to try to tear people down because of it? Or I just don't understand. Like one person might be Republican, one person might be a Democrat, one person might be in the middle, but we can all come together in love and peace and respect for everyone, and have a little compassion. So I'm gonna try to say everything that I say out of a spirit of compassion. I'm going to try not to talk too much about other people. I want this to be focused on me. I will have to mention a couple of things, but not much about other people. It's mostly about me. I'll say 95% of this will be focused on me. So I just want you to get to know me, and hopefully going forward, you'll have a more of an interest in watching my channel and my content, because just something that I've always wanted to do is to build a community and a family. It's something that is really important to me, to be able to reach out to everyone in the online space and to really get to know people, make friends, and to have guests on, and to just make this an open place where everybody feels welcome. Anyone, no matter what race, what religion, what political background, just whatever, you can come feel comfortable on my show. You can feel comfortable over on my Facebook group. I run the Schmodown Friends and Family group, and so I just want it to be a place of just love and support, where we lift each other up and just try to become better people, So I mean, as we go through this, I'm gonna talk about some things where I've definitely faltered. I've definitely faltered a big time. I mean, I am like the furthest person in the world from being perfect, and you'll see why. So, uh, I do want to give a couple of shout outs. So one of the reasons why I decided to do this is I'm sure that most people are familiar with the YouTube channel Good Mythical Morning. They're a little bit of heroes of mine, of huge inspirations to me. If I could do what they do for the rest of my life, like I would love to do exactly what they're doing. I mean, to me, they're living the dream, and they're doing a great job, and they always have just a great welcoming community, and they just do fun, upbeat videos. But recently, about a year ago, they did their spiritual deconstruction videos, and they really resonated with me. And the thing is, I don't really agree with a lot of what they said, but still, like the fact that they were able to come out and to just put their heart out on their sleeve and to be able to just talk about some very personal things, I really meant a lot to me, and I got a little emotional watching that. And then just today, they put out the first of their 1 year later spiritual deconstruction, like how they're feeling after surviving 2020 and just putting out their first deconstruction, and that kind of the fallout and the response to that. And so I definitely encourage you to go check that out. I think Rhett's was released today. I think Link's is coming next Sunday. They release Ear Biscuits is where they do it on YouTube. So and then one other person I got to give a shout out is to Chris Stuckman. So Chris Stuckman, for people who don't know him, he reviews movies online. He's probably one of the biggest movie reviewers on the internet, and really one of the first to really ever do it online on a regular basis on YouTube. And so he recently had a video where he talks about growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. And I grew up in the Mormon church, and there's a lot of similarities to that, and a lot of things that are very different too. So I mean, but he just really talked about how it affected his life, and kind of does a little bit of a deep dive into something and lets the world know like some really cool things about him that really helps to, I think, relate to him better and to just be able to connect a little more. So yeah, that video was a big inspiration for me doing this too. So and I have some notes here that I'm just kind of referring to a little bit, but I want to talk about a little bit about the way that I am and the kind of a person that I am. So one thing that I want to say right off top is I was born with a stutter. So if you notice in all of my videos, if I seem a little nervous or I seem like I'm stumbling over my words or a little awkward or things like that, it's because I was born with a stutter. And so it's something that runs in my family. I get it from my dad's side for sure. His whole family, that my dad came from a big family. He had 12 brothers and sisters, and most of them stuttered. There's a couple of them that still to this day, one in particular that can think of, that still stutters so bad that like it's kind of hard to carry just regular conversations with them. But which is like so crazy because he's one of the most like coolest and funniest people that I've ever met in my life, and like he's an amazing person. I'll say shout out to my Uncle Dave. He's an awesome guy, and I know that I think a few of my dad's other siblings struggled pretty bad, but and even my dad had quite a bit of a stutter. He's mostly overcome it now, and so it's something that I just work on every single day. And some of my siblings struggle with it a little bit, but I feel like maybe I have it the worst. I don't know. My sister has it too. So I mean, probably me and her have probably had it the worst, the oldest and the youngest. So, but just to kind of talk about a little more about who I am. So I live in Washington State. I grew up in the Boise, Idaho area. I have 3 brothers and a sister, and I grew up in a really great home with great, loving, wonderful parents. My family is absolutely the best thing that I have in my life, and I'm just gonna say right now, probably I'm gonna get very, very emotional in this. I probably will cry at some point, maybe talking about my family, maybe talking about some religious stuff, but we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna try and be a man and keep it in, but I don't really need to do that. I mean, it'll end up coming out. So, but yeah. So my family, like I said, uh, is absolutely the best part of my life, and we're all best friends. We all get along great. I grew up in a great household with a mother and a father that were always there for me whenever I needed them. They just would just bend over backwards and just give me and my siblings the world, and they went so far out of their way for us that you really wish that when you were younger, you really recognized that more and really just appreciated it more and were able to express it a little more. Because I know that I gave my parents hell, and I definitely got them very upset and emotional, and also happy too. Though we had a lot of great times. So that's kind of where I mostly grew up. I mean, I was born in Utah, in Provo, Utah, and I moved to Idaho when I was 12 years old, and that's where I lived the longest. And so that's kind of where I consider to be my hometown. But I also lived in Draper, Utah. Shout out Draper. Shout out Sandy, Utah. Shout out Provo. So I lived in those places as well. I'm just gonna adjust my monitor a little bit. But so yeah, and basically, so a little bit more about me. I also am on the autistic scale. It's something that was a little hard for me to accept when I first started to realize those things. It kind of starts with ADHD. So ADHD is considered to be very low on the autistic scale. So it's kind of like the beginnings of some autism stuff. And so I definitely have some major ADHD. I like to call it ADD because I don't really have the real hyper part. I just have a very hard time with focus and concentration. I have a hard time sitting through meetings. I always fidget. I'm always shaking my legs. If you can't see what's going on below the desk, but I always am like have this little shake to my legs sometimes, or I just and just like grabbing my fingers and like fidgeting with things, or I always have to have little toys to keep my hands occupied, that type of thing. And then I have a hard time with meetings. I had a hard time sitting through school unless the teachers made it very interesting and were more animated and fun and brought some more hands-on elements to things. But and it's something that's really affected me a lot. Like, and it's something that kind of have to be honest with myself, that I have these things, and that it's a little more than just ADHD, a little more than maybe even Asperger's, and it's something that I've been trying to get help with, but it's been hard. It's been very, very difficult for me to find any help with. When I used to live in Idaho, I was able to get some testing for it, and for some reason they don't want to give out the diagnosis for autism. Like, just doctors, psychologists, people don't want to do it. I don't get it. I don't know why, because once you are able to get that diagnosis, it really can open up a world of financial possibilities. You can apply for disability and Social Security, and so a lot of different things you can qualify for, that people who are on that scale really could use that help, but yet they don't want to give that diagnosis. So basically, I went through all of the testing for it. I had a psychological evaluation. And I think when I first did all that testing, though, I was still kind of in denial about it. Like, they would ask me a question, I think to myself, well, I'm not really that bad. I don't really like deal with those things. And then I realized as I've gone through my life that yeah, maybe I do. And I could use help with some things. And so it makes it kind of hard, because certain things that, like, I understand really, really well. Like, I understand computers, I understand technology, I understand like just anything that has to do with like electronics. I don't know. I have a really weird memory for like movie quotes and like old jingles from commercials and like just things that really maybe aren't as important in life. But when it comes to like math and some parts of science and like things that are just a lot more important, some stuff to do with like business and like all those types of things, I don't retain that stuff, and those kind of stuff is just hard for me. And so it's something where I mean, I can function very highly, and like I'm married. Me and my wife have our own place. We live in a different state than all my family members, and I'm able to hold a job and be able to be pretty successful. And I have had some issues with jobs because I don't work well with authority. I hate people in authority and people telling me what to do and doing it in a serious way. And the more serious they are about it, the worse I respond to it, and it makes me kind of freak out and have these like little mini panic attacks, and it just you want to just lash out to people and start screaming and yelling and tell them to F off or whatever. Because I definitely have done that to cops. I've done it to teachers at school. I've done it to bosses at work, and it's not good. And so some that I'm really working on to not do those kind of things. But it's really affected jobs a lot for me. Like I normally hold a job anywhere from about 3 months to a year, and usually they don't last much longer than that. Usually I am either fired or I feel like I'm working really hard, doing a great job for them, and they just look at me like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this in this way? Why is it taking you so long? You're not doing it the way that I asked you to do it, or they just think that I'm up to something, or that I'm acting kind of strange or just kind of different. And there are things I don't always recognize. And so it's like what usually ends up happening is I get shuffled off somewhere in some other part of the job, and then eventually they just let me go and I'm fired. Or there's some incident between me and the bosses where I end up lashing out at them because they won't leave me alone. They're either trying to micromanage too much or be too much of an authority figure, or they're just getting involved in my business too much that I just end up lashing out. I mean, I don't want to. I never want it to get to that point, but it's happened on multiple occasions. And so, yeah, I actually have worked in the medical field, though. I am a CNA. I got my CNA license. I got med certified, and I actually had a job doing home health care. And I was able to hold that job for 5 years, believe it or not. So I am able to hold jobs long term. I think the main reason why I did so well at that job, because literally I was just going to people's homes and I was just doing some medical care for them, and then just kind of hanging out and just being a friend to them, because a lot of these people that they sent me to, the people who can't get to the hospital on a regular basis, so they're like bedbound. A lot of them are paralyzed. A lot of them are just like have kind of illnesses or different things that they can't move, and so they can't move very well, so they need a lot of extra help. And so I was able to do that, and I actually did it really well. So but I kind of realized that the medical field was not for me. It's not something I want to do long term. I just didn't really like it after a while. I got stuck on the bottom end of the totem pole. So anyone who's been a CNA who's worked in the medical field, I was basically the certified butt wiper in the old folks' home, and I had to do all the showers and all the dirty work that nobody else wanted to do, and that was just not for me. I mean, don't get me wrong though, I love going to like a nursing home or someone's home for home health care, and just sitting and talking with people and hearing their stories. Like, I loved all of that. I love connecting with them in that type of way. But the medical field is something that just kind of fell into my lap when I was job hunting. I just I found a place, Life Care Center in Boise, that was able to pay for all my tuition through Boise State and my books, and we did all of our clinicals right on site. So that was a huge blessing. So I kind of just went with them, like, well, they're going to pay for all this stuff. Well, gee, why not? I mean, how can you say no to that, really? And so I did that. But right now I've been doing a job doing merchandising. So basically I work for this company called Premium Retail, and we go to a bunch of different stores. We go to like Target, Best Buy, Home Depot, Costco, Rite Aid, Walgreens, like Safeway, Albertsons, like pretty much like any type of retail store. We go and we service different products. So we're in charge of like just all kinds of different products, and we just do like the product resets. Like lately, we've been doing a lot of cosmetic resets. So I'm doing that, but I've done a lot of like sunglasses, electronics. I've done just like, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So sports equipment, I mean, just different things. And so we just do the product resets. We make sure that the product's set the way that the corporate wants it set, and that it looks like really nice. And we go back and we service it kind of on a weekly basis just to make sure that it looks good in the way that they want. And so yeah, I've been doing that, and actually love my job now because I get to choose my own schedule. So basically, they just give us all these jobs, and then we have a window that we need to get them done, but we have no set time. We got to be at work every day, and we have no set days we got to do it. We can pretty much schedule these jobs out any way that works best for us. So that's really awesome. And if we have some kind of errand we got to run in the middle of the day, they have no problem if we just got to zip over and do something, and then go to the jobs and stuff like that. So we have a little freedom there. So that actually works well, especially with my ADHD mind. I am not a morning person at all. Like I don't function well in the morning. I'm actually more of a night owl. I worked nights for about 10 years in the medical field, and then I got stuck doing a lot of warehouse work. I worked for Amazon, a bunch of different loading docks and warehouses, and I got stuck doing that because I moved to Washington, and those are just the jobs that are available. I ended up working for some temp agencies and stuff, and that's just the work that they had, and I didn't really like any of that warehouse work. I did like working for Amazon, except for the management. Management sucks at Amazon, but besides that, though, I worked for Amazon Fresh, and it's kind of like just doing like picking out grocery orders all day in a huge warehouse, and the warehouses were giant, and so it's kind of like you're exploring all these places in the warehouse, and you get to go in the freezers, a giant freezer that's like half the size of the warehouse, and then the refrigerated section, all that. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, it was all right. But when I moved to Washington, though, I moved there because I was supposed to have a job working in the airline industry. I was going to work on the loading dock for Alaska Airlines, but unfortunately, I have a couple of things on my background. So because of mostly Asperger's, because Asperger's kind of, and being on the autistic scale, like I'll be acting normal, everything's fine, everything's good, and then all of a sudden I'll just do something weird because I just don't always think things through or think of consequences or think about things before I do it. And so I'll just do random things, and I've shoplifted a couple of times. So I'm going to be open, I'm going to be honest that I do have that on my record, but it's been about 7 years since the last time that I did it. So I mean, and the goal is to never do it ever again. I've never stolen from an actual person that I know. It's always been like at a store or something, but it's never something I plan to do. It's never something I ever want to do again. And there are always random things that I take, and it's just stupid, and they're stupid mistakes. I'm ashamed of it, and it's just something that's really has affected a lot of jobs that I could have. And because one of my biggest passions in life is to travel. If I could give up all my possessions and just travel the world, I would do it. Like I would do it in a heartbeat. Like I don't care about having a lot of nice things or having a nice fancy home to live in or anything like that. I just want to be able to travel, like just anywhere. Travel in my own state. Travel in within my own country. Travel the world. Like just like I want to do it. So it's definitely something that I've not done nearly enough of in my life, and that I want to do a lot more. So that's basically where all my money is going to be going to, is I'm just saving so I can travel. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me, kind of just like a brief little description, kind of general about me. And let's see, I'm kind of looking at my notes here. So one of the things, though, why well, one other reason why I want to make this type of a video and let everyone see it, put it on my channel for everyone to see, is the more that I embrace these things about myself, the happier I am. So, I mean, just coming to terms, hey, I'm on the autistic scale. So what? I can still live a great, wonderful, fulfilling life, and I don't have to let that hold me back or hold me down in any kind of way. I was born with a stutter. Who cares? I'm gonna continue to work on my stutter every single day. I'm gonna keep doing YouTube videos because I have a huge passion for movies. I have a passion for like filming things. I have a passion for just being on camera and on YouTube. So I'm gonna do it, and it also helps me with the stuttering to be able to just work on my speech, work on just speaking slowly and distinctly, as my grandma used to say on her voicemail. She'd tell people, please speak slowly and distinctly. We always thought that was funny that she would say that on her voicemail, but so she could hear people and understand. Because another thing is my mind. So kind of how it works is that it's going about 1,000,000 miles a minute. So I have all these thoughts that are just like they'll be in my head 1 minute, and then 2 seconds later, like they're just gone, and then 2 seconds later they'll be back. And so I'll forget things for a minute, and then I'll suddenly remember them, and then forget them again. And it makes it tough because I end up losing things and misplacing things a lot, or I'll get ready to leave for the day, and I'll forget 1 or 2 things right by the door. I'll have everything ready to go for work or wherever I'm going, and then I'll leave it right by the door. And sometimes I can come back for it, and sometimes I can't. And so it's a little frustrating, but it's something that I'm definitely continuing to work on every single day. And by just embracing these things, that it just helps me to be happier and to have just a much more fulfilling life, to just know what my weaknesses are and the things that I might struggle with, and just formulate a game plan on how I can make them into strengths and how I can just be better every day. So it's something that like I would suggest to everybody, like embrace your weaknesses, like don't be ashamed of the things you might not be good at, or you might not be happy about in your life. Find a way to just overcome them, find a way to make them strong and to make them into strengths, and to just make them a positive part of your life instead of a negative. So and also too, one of the things, so to kind of go back to the autism stuff, I do want to mention that I did all the testing in Idaho, and they would not give me an actual like firm diagnosis of autism. They wouldn't give me an Asperger's diagnosis. They actually say Asperger's no longer diagnosis that a person can receive. You're just considered on the autistic scale. So and so then I just kind of had to let it go for years and years, maybe almost 10 years, and because I just thought there's no hope, no help, and I just have to just live life and move on. So that's what I did. And then when I moved to Washington, so Washington's more a Democratic state. Idaho's more a Republican state. So meaning, like, this is the way that I've kind of broke it down when it comes to the medical field, is that in Idaho you get great, awesome medical care, but you have no way to pay for it. The benefits just aren't there. That I think that they really tried to deny people benefits. They make it very difficult for you to get any kind of help, any kind of welfare, any kind of just like medical insurance. They make it really hard. But the medical care is great though. And then in Washington, it's the complete opposite. So you can apply for benefits easily. Me and my wife were on food stamps, and there was a definite time we needed it. We were affected by coronavirus, and we were out of work a little bit, and we needed it. But do we still need it? I don't know. But they're going to give it to us, and we're going to use it if they're going to give it to us. So so we've had it, and they keep giving it to us. We're not even we don't have to reapply for it. They just give it to us, and also we have Obamacare, and we're able to get that, and to get healthcare through the state of Washington, and it literally pays for everything. It pays for like dental, it pays for medical, it pays for everything. You never have to pay a dime for any of that stuff. But the medical care isn't always the greatest. I mean, sometimes it's pretty good, but other times it's terrible, and you have a hard time getting into places. And one of the things is I am not able to get treatment for autism. I can't even get a diagnosis, and I need it. I need it to be able to apply for for a lot of things, because what if I lose my job? Because it's something that I'm always nervous about. Because, excuse me, but because I mean, with autism, you have little triggers. So like something could happen and it just upsets you, and you'll be upset for a long time, and it's just hard to get over it until you resolve the situation in whatever way that takes to resolve it. So like I'm just waiting for the day not waiting for it. I hope it never happens, but I mean, there could be a day somewhere down the line where some supervisor or coworker at my work says something dumb to just piss me off, or like maybe they're not even intending to, but it does, and I fly off the handle. I say something stupid, I do something stupid, and I lose my job over it. Or honestly, what happens most of the time, I feel like I'm working hard, doing a great job, moving really fast, doing everything that they ask, and then they just come up to me and tell me that they have to let me go because I'm not doing a good job and not doing it the way that they want. And so that's something that's always on my mind. It makes me a little nervous. So to have the diagnosis, I could be able to have something like Social Security or some disability to be able to fall back on, because I really have a hard time holding and maintaining jobs that I just do. So it's something that like I'm not happy about. I wish I could just have one job and have it for years, and yeah, just be able to live my life. But it's kind of like my financial situation has definitely been a huge roller coaster. It'll go up and low. Me and my wife will have tons of money, and then it'll crash down, and we have like almost no money, and it'll stay down for a while, and then it'll go back up and stay up, and it's just kind of how it works. And I don't know if it's really like that for most people. I don't know, but I just know that that's how it is for us, mostly because of my job situation, and also having some things on my criminal record doesn't help. So, and I've actually never, well, I spent one day in jail because of some things. I'm not going to get into all the details, but it's not something that I'm proud of, and I never want to do it because it was a very scary thing to ever have to experience. And I just want to be a good person and do right, and I don't want to break the law. I don't want to. I never intend to, and I just want to just like have no drama, no problems in my life, and just live kind of a quiet life, just doing my own thing. But part of autism is that you want things a certain way in your life, or you're not going to be happy. So it's like you want to be able to do things, you want to be able to have certain things, you want your life to go a certain way, and if something comes in to interrupt that, or to change that, or to make some, I don't know, it's just like some kind of big disruption, then it can cause problems, and it can change your behaviors. It can change your just like the way you feel mentally, the way you feel physically, even, and the way you feel emotionally. Just like it can have a big effect on those types of things. So, and hopefully this is interesting for you guys. I'm gonna try to move on to some different topics and things here, just so you can kind of get to know more about me. Let's see. And basically, so I want to just touch briefly on how I relate to people. So basically, like I have about 5 or 6 really close friends that I would consider like my best friends, and beyond that, everyone that I know is just more of an acquaintance. And I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about just friends. And so I have a hard time really like making deep friendships, even from when I was young. Like I just had a really hard time with that. And so, I mean, my best friends were few and far between, but I had all these acquaintances that like I would say hi to. I would reach out to once in a while through social media, or when I was in school, I'd say hi to people in the hallways or like stop and talk for a quick minute or something. But there were never people that I really hung out with outside of school or really talked to all that much. And that's kind of like the way my life has mostly been. And basically, like when it comes to people, like it takes really the right person to really form that connection and that bond, and to really feel like I can trust them, and to, like I'm a pretty shy person at first, but then once I get to know somebody and I start to feel comfortable with them, I open up, and I really open up, like kind of like I'm doing now. I'll like my phone going off, but yeah, like I'll open up so much that like I probably like divulge way too much information to people that maybe might kind of freak people out a little bit. And then I also talk. Like I'm a talker. I can talk people's heads off to the point where like people start to say like they like make little cues or like little hints like, all right, wrap it up. You've been talking a lot. Like all you've done since I saw you today, just talk. And so something that I'm trying to recognize more and not just talk people's heads off. So that's kind of why I like being on YouTube, so I can talk and get things out. So, but yeah, once I get to know somebody though, I really open up. And so, yeah, that's just kind of how I am. And sometimes, unfortunately, I've kind of opened up to the wrong people that have really burned me, and they weren't really the right kind of relationships to really have, the right kind of friendships, that type of thing. But I mean, it is what it is. But let's see. And probably for me, like right now, because I wanted to talk about the best and the worst parts of my life right now. Probably the worst part of my life, I mean, I have it pretty good. I don't really have things too bad. I don't have a lot to complain about, really. I mean, I have these struggles that I'm talking about, but it's nothing really to complain about. Like, I'm a pretty happy, even-keeled guy. Just always want to have fun. I always want to look for the next super fun thing. But probably if I were to talk about the worst thing, I have to kind of think a little bit, because I don't really know if I have a worst thing. I mean, probably the worst thing in my life is never really feeling satisfied and feeling like I've really made it to where I want to be in life. There's always like one step further, one more thing that I want to do, and usually that next step seems pretty much insurmountable for me. Like so I have all these ideas for apps. I want to build some apps. I've been talking about it for a while, but really, how do I do it? Like I gotta go to school I gotta learn all the coding for apps, but I have some pretty amazing ideas in my head for these apps, and I've talked about it with a few people, but I just don't really know how I'm going to execute them. And school's always been another thing that I like. I don't like school. It's not really for me. It's not like, I do want to learn, and I do want to try to just learn a lot of new things, but I don't know if school's ever going to be for me. I keep talking about maybe trying to go back or take a few classes, but it hasn't really happened. I've gone to like 6 months of school, and the only reason why I went is because it was a CNA training connected to my job. So, and they were paying for it all. And so, yeah, that's just the only reason why I did that. But I don't know if I'll ever go to school. Maybe, I don't know. But, and just like probably one of the other things that is like feeling like I haven't done everything that I want to do in life. Like I want to travel a lot, and I just don't know if I'm ever going to have the money to do it. And so, yeah, but I mean, for me though, those are the worst things in my life. It's really nothing to complain about, because there's a lot of people that have it 100 times worse than me. So I don't have it bad at all. I actually have a very good life that I'm very blessed and very thankful for. So, and the best part of my life, like I said, it is absolutely my family, and that includes my wife, Shannon, and then it also includes my dad, my mom, all my siblings. Like they're amazing, and they're always there for me whenever I need them. I mean, sometimes I get a little busy. I mean, life happens, and I'm not going to fault someone for not responding to a text or a phone call, but I mean, beyond that, though, they're always there, and they're always happy, like to help out, to spend time together. And I always know that they want the best for me, and I want the best for them. And so that's something that's always been the best part of my life. It's a little hard because I live in Washington, kind of. Well, I'll just say I live in the Spokane area. I try not to give my location too much, just for personal reasons. But I mean, I'll say it here, and I live a fair distance from my family. Excuse me, if I got water here. But it's probably like about an 8-hour drive, and it's probably something where I only probably get to see them maybe twice a year, 3 times if I'm lucky. And so I mean, I do get a little homesick. I mean, it's mostly just like from not being able to see. I don't miss my home necessarily, even though it's a great place. It's just my family and friends back home. So there is a little bit of that, because my wife Shannon, I'm so grateful for her. She's amazing, and we get along great most of the time, and we always have a lot of fun together. But she struggles with some of her own personal things as well, that makes it so she's not always really like emotionally and mentally there for me all the time. I mean, nobody can be there all the time for a person, but we just try our best, and in those times I do kind of struggle a little bit, but it's not really too bad. I know that my family's always a phone call away, or I can just hop in the car, and it's less than a day to drive there, or maybe like an hour if I flew there. So I mean, it's really not too bad. It's mostly just having the money to do that, as much as I'd like to do that. But let's see. So I want to talk about just a few things that have really meant a lot to me in my life. So one of the things that I do, I actually end up watching a lot of YouTube. I probably watch more YouTube than I do TV, and I watch tons of movies, like tons of movies. I used to go to the movie theater every single week when they were open. And movie theaters are just opening up where I live, but they've been closed for a long time. But one of the things with ADHD and kind of being on the autistic scale also is that I always have my phone playing something all day, all the time, almost 24/7, and I probably need to like get rid of my phone more, just kind of like put it aside and just kind of enjoy some peace and quiet, or I'm going to go read a book, or go be out in nature, or just spend some time with my wife more without our devices, But I always have just something playing, whether it's music, whether it's YouTube, but it's always from my phone. And some of the things, the YouTube channels that have really inspired me to create my own YouTube channel. One of them is the Movie Trivia Schmodown. I got to give a huge shout out to that. That's why I created the Schmodown Friends and Family group, and just Christian Harloff and Mark Ellis, what they've created over there is like nothing short of like incredible. That you take all the personalities of professional wrestling, and you infuse that with movie trivia, and you get people just trash talking and going at each other, and they make it very emotional. I just watched that. They have a league called the Inner Geekdom, where they kind of ask more kind of geeky questions, Star Wars, superhero, that kind of stuff, and the Inner Geekdom Championship, and just watching that, you could see how invested these competitors are, and how emotional that they get. And the person that actually won it was like in tears, and it was just so happy to have won that, and to be a part of this league, and a part of the community that they've created. Because also along with the show that they've created, or the sport, I would call it even more of a sport, that is the community behind it, and they've really made a huge focus on making it community, and it's been an amazing thing in my life that's really lifted me up and really helped me get through a lot of hard times, and just always I've been there whenever I feel lonely or not feeling happy. I just click on movie trivia schmodown, and like whether it's watching old matches, new matches, like whatever, like it just puts me in my happy place. It really does. That, and then also watching a Good Mythical Morning, just watch Rhett and Link do their thing. Like I've literally done deep dives on both channels and gone back and rewatched like old videos, and especially Rhett and Link has put out so much content that I've not seen it all. There's a lot of content I haven't seen. I was a little late to the game when it came to Good Mythical Morning, so I'm going back and rewatching a lot of their stuff. But for the movie trivia showdown, I went on the journey since day one. Since they started, I saw the first match. I saw what they were doing before that, and I've been on the ride ever since. And it's been an incredible ride. So I'll just say that. And there's a few other channels that are, well, that I watch on the regular. There's I'll give a couple of quick shout outs. I watch one called Vlog Creations, and I watch one called it's called More J Stew. So those are two. If you want to check those out, you can see what those are all about. But I'm not going to get into those right now. But let's see. I'm kind of looking at my notes. So I also wanted to touch on who some of my personal heroes are in my life, people that have inspired me to just be the best person that I can be, and that just I think have done incredible things in my life. One of them is my dad. First and foremost, I always got to give a shout out to my dad. He's there for me, like no matter what, and usually that's multiple times in a week, whether just me just calling to just talk about something or to vent, or whether I have some kind of problem in my life going on. He's always there to help, give great advice and to help, and he's literally willing to just drop everything and come help me. He helped me and my wife move from just outside of Seattle. We moved about 4.5 or 5 hours away, and he literally paid for the whole moving truck, and he brought up a bunch of my siblings to come help. So that was also great to have them too. And yeah, they all just came and helped us move, and without them, we would not be able to have moved. Like we literally wouldn't have been able to do it. So it was a huge help, and like he's just there for me time and time again. Like I probably owe him thousands upon thousands of dollars that I don't know if I'll be able to pay him back in my lifetime. I'm going to try, but yeah. So he's definitely one of mine, and just the way that he works hard, like he works so hard at like everything that he does at his job, and he really shows how much that he cares about his family and the people in his community. I mean, he's not just there for me. He's there for all my siblings and neighbors, just like people at church. Like he's just always giving of himself and giving his time and just showing like how much he really cares for people and how much he loves all of his family. So he's definitely one of my heroes. A couple other ones. I got to give a shout out to Charlie Kirk. So I've been watching Charlie Kirk, that on his radio show. He's a conservative guy that just talks about a lot of things going on in our country, like some of the great things and some of the not so great things. And like he just seems to know that the best way to just get people fired up, get people inspired and like he's just super smart and super knowledgeable, and he knows how to call out all these people that are doing things wrong. He knows how to separate the good from the bad and the true from the untrue. Like there's a lot of fake news going on out there. Like he's great at like just making sense of it all, and like his like his radio show just kind of a voice of like, I don't know, just like a beacon to just listen to and just get pumped up, and to just, I mean, he's also a very religious. He speaks at a lot of churches. Someday, hopefully, he'll come speak at my church. I think that would be incredible to hear Charlie Kirk speak live. But I mean, yeah, he's just someone that like it's just always on the air. He probably does 2-3 hours every single day, and like it's just great. So if you ever get a chance to check out Charlie Kirk, I mean, he's only in his 20s and he's just killing it out there. Like he's gonna be the next Rush Limbaugh, but maybe not so divisive, but who knows? I don't know. But And then I'm going to give just a couple of quick shout outs to a couple of athletes. Kevin Garnett, that's my boy. That's my favorite athlete of all time. Also, Michael Jordan. I mean, everyone knows but his work ethic and everything he accomplished in his life. So those are definitely some people that I look up to. I also look up to there's a guy that I grew up with in my church named Brother Firmage, and now we call him Elder Firmage, and also President Bishop. Like, he's been in a lot of different things, but like, he did a lot of offices within the church. He started out as my my youth group leader. I think he was my teacher's quorum advisor at first, I think, I want to say, and then priest quorum, and like, I've had some amazing times and amazing moments that he's really like inspired me. We've shed tears together. He's really kind of pushed me to be a better person, and really inspired me, and like, just had so much love for me. And like, even from the very beginning, when he barely even knew me, it was just getting to know me, and also the a lot of the youth in our church, and just has been like a super funny, hilarious, cool guy to talk to, but also very inspiring, and like, I don't know, like, he's just an amazing guy. And now he is in, I want to say, Quorum of the 70. I think that's right, if I have it right. It's been a little while since I've talked to him, a few years actually. So but yeah, he's one. And then also, I want to say my brother Aaron, just because as a husband and a father, he's been an amazing husband, amazing father to his wife Jill, and to his 4 kids that he has. And then just with like business, he always knows how he knows how to be very successful in business, and he knows how to I mean, he started so many different businesses, whether it's window washing, whether it's doing water restoration, whether it's doing like roofing, or like solar panels, or like I think now he's doing some real estate, and he's always like pretty successful in these things, and so that's something that I always look up to, because those things are kind of difficult for me. They're not really that easy. They don't come very easy to me. So I would love to start my own business, and I'm kind of doing it through YouTube a little bit. But and also too, he's a master when it comes to like getting good deals on expensive things, like travel, and like, he knows how to get travel points. Like all that stuff that I definitely need to work on fixing my credit, so I can get more involved with that, because he's definitely tried to help me with that. I need to work on building up my credit a little bit, so I can be a part of all of that. And then also, like, he knows how to get good deals on cars, and like, just like things like that. So yeah, I look up to him for that kind of stuff. But so I definitely already mentioned quite a bit about my family relationships. I do want to say that, and I'm going to try to just touch kind of lightly on this, but my parents are in the process of a divorce. It's something that has really affected me quite a bit. Like, I'm just I'll just say, not really too happy with some of the decisions that my mom's made. I mean, nobody's done anything bad, and nobody's cheated. Nobody's looked at anything inappropriate. Nobody's like stolen from anyone. Like, there's no one's gotten physical. Like, just none of that. It's just something that my mom just made a decision that she needed to move on with her life and to explore some other things. And I don't really understand it as to why. She even left the church that we were a part of, but I do want to let her know that I love her with all my heart, and that I'm gonna do my very best to support her in finding her happiness and finding what makes her truly happy. But it's been a little tough, because I feel like maybe she doesn't communicate with us as much, and we don't really see her. She went and got her own house in Boise, and so it's been a little different, a little awkward, and so it's something that I'm just trying to really just come to terms with it. And when it first happened, there's a lot of anger involved with that. Like, I just felt like kind of betrayed, kind of let down, kind of a lot of things. But I mean, I pretty much processed most of that. So me and my mom have a great relationship. Me and my dad have a great relationship. It's just different than it ever was, and I kind of wish it never had really come down to this, but it did. So I mean, the best we can do is just move forward and just make it the very best that we can. In a perfect world, I wish there's a way for those two to get back together. I think that's what every child wants for their parents: get back together and to love each other and be happy and have a united family. You know, but the good thing is, though, we all get together and we don't have to have separate Christmases or separate holidays or birthdays or get together vacation. Always willing to just come together for all that. There's been a few times here and there when maybe my mom didn't feel as comfortable being there, but for the most part she is there. So she's there for those things, and so yeah. But it's kind of, I do have to say that it has made me a little more distant from my mom and a lot closer to my dad. I just have to say it. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, I gotta be honest about it, but we're working on it every single day. So it's something that we're just trying to move forward from. But and then also too, I want to I talk about some relationships with my friends too. So I have some really awesome best friends. I want to give a few shout outs. So my good friend Mark Johnson and his wife Shay, they came to visit in January. That was awesome that they were able to come visit and hang out. To come all this way to Spokane where we live from Boise, and so that they've always been two of my best friends, and they're just lifelong friends. I think of them as like brother and sister to me. We have so much fun together. We have just the right kind of personalities that just click, but also we can kind of like learn from each other, because I'm more kind of I don't really want to say simple-minded. That's not really the right word, but like I just know a lot about like maybe pop culture, a lot about movies, music, just I don't know, just like a lot of like basic things. But they seem to know a lot about like book smarts, especially Mark. Like he's like super smart. Like whenever I have computer questions or how to fix a car, like he's a I want to say a mechanical engineer. He got a degree in doing that. I know that Shay got a degree too. I can't remember what her degree was in, but yeah. So they're people that I always turn to. We're always going to be best friends. I got my good buddy Chris Scott that you see on the channel. He goes by Casablanca Kid. He's another person that just like a brother to me. He's just so happy all the time. Like he always tries to do anything that he can for his friends, for his family. He's just like one of those just super happy-go-lucky guys. And like whenever you're in a social situation, he's always the life of the party. Like he always goes out of his way to just go and make new friends. Like when we're in public, he never hesitates to just talk to people and like instantly become friends with a coworker, with someone like some random stranger. Like he has so many friends. I always hear him talk about all the different friends that he's hanging out with or that he's talking to, and I know it's like, man, you have a lot of friends, and it's because he just has that kind of personality that he's just so outgoing and able to just build those relationships. And I think that is awesome. I only wish that I could be even half as like outgoing and just able to make friends in the way he does. So, like it's really cool, and then we have everything in common. We always just like talk about the same movies, the same music. We talk about like just pop culture things, Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, like superhero stuff. We also talk about like our favorite music. We have so much in common, just all the things we like to go out to do, and like we always have a blast whenever we hang out together. It's just like an amazing time, and I always look forward to times with him. And then I'm not going to give as detailed into all my friends, but I do want to give a shout out to my good buddy Matt Morley, another person who's definitely like a brother to me, and I wish I could be able to see him a little more. I don't get to see him as often, but and then my friend Ben Blessing, he's one that always inspires me. He's an ultra runner. He runs like these 100-mile races and 24-hour races that are just crazy. I'd probably die if I tried to do one. But and yeah, I mean, have a couple other friends that maybe I don't see as much. I'm a good buddy of Francisco that I met in Washington, that I try to reach out to from time to time. I got my good buddy Adam from back home, Adam Turner. So yeah, I mean, and then I have some friends from like my high school days, but I won't get into the whole list of everybody. But those are just some of my really good friends. But yeah, so definitely have those close friends. Don't have a lot of friends, but I have some close ones. Where I live now in Spokane, I haven't really made really any friends yet, or don't really know anyone. There's the one guy from my ward I met named Tyler. He helped us move in, and he actually invited me and my wife a couple of times over to like play games and have a little thing we call in our church family home evening. And so you just get together and have a little lesson about the church. It's a quick one, and then you play a game and like maybe have something to eat. So we're definitely going to get together with them soon. So that's definitely on our to-do list. But where I live now, though, I actually really like it. Like it's kind of a mix between like small town and a big city. And surprisingly, Spokane has a lot to do. There's a lot to do here, and so like there's like tons of outdoors things that are all super close. You're not too far from the Idaho border. You got Coeur d'Alene that's got a theme park over there, and theme park Silverwood. I was trying to think of the name for a second, but and then yeah, there's just like a lot of things to do, like in town. A lot of cool restaurants, cool places that are just starting to open back up. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting out and seeing some more stuff. Going out with my wife, me and Shannon, going out on the town. So that's definitely gonna be happening soon. She's more of a homebody, but I try to encourage her to get out there and do some fun stuff with me, go on some dates. But let's see. And when it comes to friends too, I got to give a shout out to one of my best friends. My best friend Doug Strait. He passed away maybe like 4 years ago, something like that, 3 years ago. But yeah, he was like a brother to me. Like we literally, like, he was my next door neighbor growing up, and like I was over at his house almost every day, and we had so many times where we're just watching old Chris Farley movies, or like Saturday Night Live, or like he was big into Blue Collar Comedy Tour. We watched that a lot. Just like finding the most random things to just laugh at, and playing video games and watching wrestling. He's the only reason I know anything about professional wrestling, because he was big into that, and like he was big into country music. So he kind of opened up my world to country music that I never really listened to much before. And man, I miss him every single day. Like, so he had spina bifida, so he was, he couldn't really walk without the use of crutches. And over his life, it slowly, his health slowly declined. He had to have a lot of brain surgeries because he had to put this thing in his brain called a shunt, because I think his brain would leak fluid. And so it's a thing that every so often he had to have that replaced. And that's a huge surgery to have and really taxing. I can imagine like that must take a huge toll on someone to have to do that every couple of years. And then he was always in the hospital a lot, and just, yeah, like he really had a rough go of it, but like he was an amazing person. Like I miss him every single day. I think about him a lot. Like I can't wait until the next life, and I get to go up and I get to see my good best buddy Doug up there. I know he's up there in perfect health. It's something that I absolutely believe to be true, that like he's not in a wheelchair or on crutches. He's walking, and he's running, and he's like just like having the time of his life with the perfect healthy body. Like that's something that I just know with all my heart. So yeah, I can't wait until that time comes. It'll be a great day. But yeah. So like one of the things that I want to touch on. So I've always been someone that hates drama. I hate being around drama. I hate people that cause it. I hate people that just, I don't know, like I just don't want to be a part of drama. But I always seem to find myself where there's drama. Like I just do. Like I don't know why. Especially when comes to dating too, like my dating life was like I always ended up dating people that either had bipolar or depression, or just like a lot of mental things that they were struggling with. And I think that people who are on the autistic scale, or who maybe have some mental disabilities going on, like they relate more to people who are also like that. I mean, obviously, but I mean, I think that like people who aren't like on that scale, they can kind of see in other people. I feel like, I mean, maybe this isn't true, but I feel like that it is, that they can see when something's a little off, something just doesn't seem quite right, and especially when it comes to dating. I think like some people, like I would try to date people who are like really intellectual and really smart and just really, I don't know, like they had no mental issues, because I didn't want to deal with all that stuff. I wanted to have someone that's just completely normal, you know. But I think that like a lot of people could see that I had some things going on, and even when I would seemingly be acting completely normal, I think I could still sense it just a little bit, and so those relationships never worked out, and it just the relationships are always worked more for me and lasted longer for people that also struggled with some stuff, because I'm willing to like put up with anything. I'm willing to just go through it all. I don't like to, I don't really want to, but like I'm just willing to. So and so like before I was married, I was once engaged, and the person I was engaged to like had bipolar, like majorly, and I didn't really know that going into the relationship. But when I found out, I didn't really care all that much. It didn't really matter to me, and we actually got along great, and I loved her to death. But I could just see that like maybe she wasn't really feeling the relationship. And I think it was because of the bipolar and the extreme depression that she had. She also had that too. And basically with bipolar, you have really high highs and really low lows. And the good days would be great, and the bad days would be terrible. And so it was just kind of one of those things that when she had bad days, I just said that, like, when she had triggers that would set her off too. So one little thing happened, and that's it. And we'd be hanging out, having a great day, and then next thing that you know, something happens, and she's just pissed off or upset or having anxiety. And so I gotta just take her home, and we'll hang out another day. But the thing is, this particular person wanted to hang out every day, every single day. So it was kind of like it was a lot when we weren't married and we were just dating, and so it made it kind of tough. But we found a way to make it work. We were together 7 years, so that was a long time. And yeah, but even when I proposed to her, I think she kind of hesitated a little bit. Like I proposed to her, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know," and she's like, "No, no, no," and then she kind of changed her tune. She's like, "I really want to marry you. No, thank you. This is really sweet." And I went and did it in this big elaborate way, and yeah, so, and then after that, I could kind of see that she had some issues, some commitment issues, things with bipolar, depression, all that kind of stuff. But funny enough, after we broke up, within like a year or two, she was already engaged to some other guy. So, I mean, so for some reason, I feel like that happens a lot after breakups. I've actually seen it a lot, like not just with me, with a lot of people, where you're dating someone, and then things don't work out for whatever reason, and the next thing that you know, like not very much time's passed, and they're already like getting engaged to someone or married or like whatever. Like it's kind of interesting. But let's see. But I want to kind of transition that into my current marriage, which is awesome and amazing, and I love my wife Shannon to death. Like she is like the perfect person for me, and we definitely have ups and downs, but I mean we always work through it. She also has some things that she struggles with. I'm not gonna really say too much because that's her business. I'm not gonna bring it up, but yeah. So that'll make it a little bit of a struggle sometimes. But I mean, for the most part, like she's great. She is very kind, very loving, and she's been through a lot in her life. It's another thing I'm not going to dive into, but like all the things that she's overcome, it's a crazy amount of things, and she's come out on top, and she's doing great. And we honestly, I kind of moved to Spokane because this is where she wanted to live, and I was happy to do it because I love to travel and explore new places, and I'm just open to wherever the wind takes me. So, I mean, I was totally fine with it, but yeah, like we have a great time, and the good thing is like we have about half the things we like in common, and half the things we don't have in common. But it really opens each other up to some new experiences, and to like just really get involved with some new things. She likes really old classic movies, and it's something I've never really been into, and so we've actually watched a lot of old ones that I've actually really enjoyed. And then I get into her into all my nerdy pop culture type things, but yeah, then we have a lot of the same music tastes, and we love 90s music, both of us. We love just music we can get up and dance to. So, and we both love going to the movie theater, so we're excited the movie theaters are opening back up. And so I mean, my marriage is great. It's better than it's ever been. And I mean, I'll say there was a time when things got a little rough, and maybe we almost ended things at one point, but I'm glad we worked through it, because things are just getting better and better every day. So I just love her so much. So I'm very lucky to have her in my life, and to be someone who has all these things that it's on the autistic scale, ADHD, has a stutter, all these things, to be able to actually find someone and like get married and stuff. But one of the things that I am gonna mention is, so Shannon had these things that are called uterine fibroids, and so they're basically kind of like a non-cancerous tumor that's like around your uterus, and hers that she had multiple ones that were so, that grew so big that they're about the size of a softball inside of her. And we had a little bit of a cancer scare at first. We thought maybe she had cancer, but thank goodness that it wasn't cancer. But they basically had, only way to remove them is you have to remove most of your reproductive organs to be able to remove that, because if those things rupture, it can kill you. And so it's something that was very serious, and we had to take action quick. And unfortunately, that means we're never going to be able to have kids. And that's something that's like pretty heartbreaking for both of us, but something that we have our love. Who knows, maybe we could adopt someday, but I don't even know if that's really in our future. But it makes us want to cling tighter and closer to the relationships that we have. I mean, I want to say that the 4 little kids that my brother Aaron and his wife Jill have are like mean the world to me. They're just like so important to me in my life. They, like, in a weird way, I kind of see them as my own kids, but I just get to be the fun uncle that just goes and just has a blast with them, and then I get to hand them off to the parents, and the parents can deal with all the other stuff, and I just get to deal with the fun stuff. So yeah. So I mean, any chance that I get to spend time with them, I definitely do, because they're just some of the best kids in the world. And since we're never able to have kids, it might be the closest we're ever gonna get. So I mean, I'm definitely like very thankful that they're so open to just like let us spend time with their kids. I mean, whenever we come visit, they just are like, yeah, just like have fun, spend time with them, like do whatever you want with them, because yeah, like, and I think it even helps them to have a little freedom, or a little like just a quick little escape from always having to look after kids. So I definitely want to get out and visit those kids some more, for sure. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to get into a little bit, and I'm just gonna preface this part. Hopefully I don't offend anybody too much, but I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on religion, and I'm also gonna talk about my thoughts on politics, because it's something that's very important to me in my life. And yeah, it's just, I mean, like, I really hope though that no matter what you believe, that we can still be able to get along. I mean, I don't really bring politics into any of my content, just this one video, and then I just stay out of it. I do post some things on my Facebook page, but I feel like that's my outlet to be able to do that. And a couple of times where I've gone a little overboard, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to just like keep it light, but I mean, these are crazy times that we live in. So, I mean, you got to stand up for what's right and what's good. And, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad out there. So, but I'm going to start with religion. So, I grew up in the Mormon church, and it's something that's a huge part of my life. I still believe in the Mormon church. I think that it's God's true church restored on the earth. But I do think, though, that it's tough for me because I do believe God is a perfect being, that like he doesn't make mistakes. But I do think that his church isn't perfect, and I think that's because of man, why it's not perfect, and it's because of like me, like maybe my views on it maybe aren't. But basically, like what I believe is that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is God's true church that's restored back to the earth from in the original form that it was when Jesus walked the earth, when he had his original 12 apostles. Because we have 12 apostles, we run things in exactly the same way that Christ did when he was on the earth. And we believe in the Bible, we believe in the Book of Mormon, and we believe that God continues to reveal things to his people through his prophets, and then also through us too a little bit. We are all entitled to our own personal revelation, I feel like, and so we can get that for ourselves, whereas the prophets can and the apostles can get it for like the church as a whole. So basically, and like I don't really talk about my religion and politics on my videos very much. So this is a one-time thing, maybe twice. I mean, it may happen once down the road, but basically my biggest things when it comes to religion. So one, like, I don't go to church every week. I just want to say that right right now, and I don't really think that like you should feel like you have to go to church every week. You should want to go to church every week, but it's hard for me when I have ADHD and I have a hard time sitting through meetings. I'm not really a morning person, so I have a hard time waking up for it. I don't like getting dressed up in a shirt and a tie and all that. But always when I go to church, it's always a great thing for me. And I'm always glad that I went every time. I don't really think I've ever had a time where I've gone to church where I'm like, man, like I really wish that I didn't go to church today, that like it really didn't make me feel good. No, it always makes me feel good. It always makes me feel great. And it's something that like just going there to just feel the spirit and like feel everybody's love there, and just the a good peaceful message and the music and everything that's there is always a good positive thing for me. There are a few things that I struggle with though. Like one big one for me was prayer. Like people always tell me that God's always listening. Is he always listening? Does he always answer prayers? Like, I don't know. I've had some things where I prayed hard for some very important things. I prayed like over and over and over and over again. And the prayer honestly felt unanswered. It felt like God didn't step in. Like, is he really there? Is he really listening? I don't know. So prayer is something that I definitely struggle with. Also, well, what goes along with that is also faith, to actually know everything's true. I mean, I know it's God's true church, but there's just some things I wonder a little bit about. And so it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a complicated thing, but, and I mean, if I were to just point out any other things that I have, I've had a little issues here and there with some of the leadership of the church, mostly being bishops. So bishop is in charge of just one single congregation. I've had some great, amazing, wonderful bishops, but I've also had some terrible ones that really don't even seem like they care, like they don't know what they're doing. They're like almost like they're have been against me, and like when I need help and I have questions, that they just like turn me away, kind of like just they just act like I'm a huge annoyance to them, and like being a bishop or really having callings in the church isn't an easy thing. You're taking time away from your family, especially a bishop. You're taking hours and hours and hours of time away. You got to run all the meetings. You got to be in charge of so many things like tithing, and you got to be in charge of all these interviews and listening to people's problems and like sins that they've committed and different things. And it's just, and like I can't imagine that that's easy. It probably takes a spiritual toll, an emotional toll, like even physically, because you're not getting sleep. You're having to like do long hours and stuff. So I know it's not easy, but a bishop needs to be there for people who need help, and they need to be. And if they're not able to do it, just like tell them like, hey, like I'm not able to do this for you, but here's somebody who can. It can be an elders quorum president or someone else that can help out. But so yeah, I've kind of had some ups and downs, mostly ups. So like almost all the bishops that I've had have been great. There's just been maybe one or two that have been a little sketchy, but that's not because of God, though. That's because of man and just their ability to be able to handle those types of things. Let's see. But and then the other thing too, if I were to talk about one more struggle. So one of the things though that I actually love is going to the temple. So I love going to the temple. I think the LDS temples are some of the most beautiful places on earth. I love the amazing spirit that's felt there. I think it's an amazing, wonderful thing. But I do think that some of the things that go on in the temple are a little weird and a little strange to me, and I don't really understand. This is just me personally. I just feel like there's some strange things. We're not really supposed to really talk about what goes on in there because they're so sacred. I mean, maybe they're so sacred that it goes over my head. A lot of like things that are like symbolisms and a lot of like things that you have to memorize and gesture and do and like just things like that. And it's just like honestly kind of odd to me. And I don't understand also too like why people who aren't members can't go inside the temple, because I think everyone should be allowed to go inside, but maybe only certain parts. Maybe only members should be allowed to go into certain parts, especially when it comes to like somebody getting married, and let's say that the person getting married is a member of the church, but their parents are not. So for example, my parents are all members of the church, my whole family, but Shannon's family is not. So like we never got sealed in the temple. We just got married outside of it, and I think it's some things that, well, probably some things we're both struggling with. Honestly, I don't want to just put it all on her, but yeah, I think we were both dealing with a few things. But her family's not members of the church. If we were to get sealed in there, they couldn't be there, and like there's got to be some way around that like family members and parents of people who aren't members of the church should be able to be there for their, like, especially parents for their kids. They should be able to be there when they get married. That's just something I never really understood, and kind of honestly sort of rubbed me the wrong way. So I mean, that's definitely one of those things. And then also too is garments. So I'll just say I don't wear garments. I don't like them. I think they're weird. I'm not going to really get into what they are really, other than it's certain underwear that's been I guess blessed to like have extra physical protection for you if you wear them. But I just never really bought into all that. Like I'm sorry that for like any of my member friends might be listening. I just don't get it. And also I think that they're very uncomfortable too. They're not comfortable in something that I'm used to wearing, and I feel awkward wearing it, and I don't wear them. I have some, and I will wear them if I go to the temple, but I don't even think I'm supposed to be at the temple if I'm not wearing them 24 hours a day, which doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, honestly, I'm going to go to the temple anyways, whether I wear them outside or not, and I will wear them to the temple. So that's just what I'm going to do. That's a personal choice. if I'm going to fall under some condemnation for that, then that's on me. But yeah, and so that's really the only time I'm going to wear garments. I mean, I don't know if that's ever going to change. I just don't wear them. So, but that's all I'm going to say on that. But when it comes to all the positive things about church is, so like probably some of my biggest beliefs when it comes to the church is I absolutely believe Joseph Smith was the prophet called of God, that the church was restored through Joseph Smith. So it's God's church, but it was restored through the prophet Joseph Smith. So he was able to receive, I think, like priesthood keys. He was able to receive the golden plates, which were just all the records of the ancient people that they just chose to write it on these plates made of gold. It's not like some special, freaky, weird thing that these golden plates. No, that's just what the people of ancient times chose to write on. And then you also have brass plates too. So that's there too. And a lot of people don't always mention brass plates, but that's part of where the Bible comes from. And then you have gold plates. That's where the Book of Mormon comes from. And they're preserved in a hillside from ancient times. And through God, he was able to direct Joseph Smith on where to find them, and then how to translate them. And then he translated them through the gift and power of God. And I know that for a fact. I know it's absolutely 100% true, and that's something that's you're never going to be able to change my mind on that, because I know that it's true. So that's something that I mean, yeah, I just know that it happened. Just all the things Joseph Smith went through, how he was persecuted beyond like belief. He was tarred and feathered multiple times, thrown in jail, and then he was eventually assassinated for what he believed in. He never denied the church, even when people had guns pointed at him. He never would deny it, and he actually saw God in Jesus. I have a testimony that that's true, and he did. It's a fact. It's not something that like someone just made up some story, or that Joseph Smith made up. It's true, and it happened to him. So, and it's something that like just gives me a lot of hope that God still can come to people in modern times and be able to give that kind of a revelation. I mean, I don't think God's gonna just come and appear to just anybody, but I mean, he had to, because he was literally restoring his church back to the earth, and it was removed from the earth because all the apostles that had priesthood keys died, and everyone that was running the church at that time died back in ancient times, and so for years and years there was God's church wasn't on the earth, and people just tried to make sense, and all these other churches sprung up, and also too, like, just because one person believes one way, like, doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them a bad person. I think anyone who's a part of any church is great, and everyone who who has a belief in God of any kind, like, should just keep believing that, and should keep doing exactly what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not going to go to hell if you're not part of a certain church or believe a certain way. You're going to be saved at the last day, and everyone's going to have the same opportunity to be able to find out about God's church, and be able to learn, and to be able to choose to accept it or to not accept it. So I mean, and if you don't, you're still going to have a great place in the next life. And that's something that I absolutely believe to be true. And I'm not someone who ever forces my beliefs and thoughts and opinions on anybody. Like, I don't ever want to do that. And so, like, it's just something that like, if you want to find out more about my church and what we believe, and you want to dive deeper, you can just ask me, and I'm happy to talk to you all day about it. I mean more than happy, but I'm not going to force it on anybody. I'm not just going to just bring it up out of the blue or anything. I'm just going to, the time's right. So, and I mean, even if you don't believe in God, that's your choice. I mean, I think that's totally fine, and you're not going to hell. You're not going to be you're not a bad person. You're still a wonderful, great, amazing person, and you're still going to have a great place in the next life. And yeah, but like I definitely know that there is a next life. That's something that like without that, like this, without that belief, then I'd probably just like would have no hope, and like I'd have not very much happiness in life, and I would like probably not have very good morals. I'd just be doing whatever I felt like doing, drinking and smoking and just doing whatever. And my church and my religion gives me morals, gives me a set of beliefs and guidelines that I can follow. But honestly, it just made me a better person, and absolutely do not hold me back in any way. Like I don't drink alcohol, I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea, because that's part of what our church believes. But also not doing that made me feel good. Like I feel good, I feel happy not doing it, and I don't ever really need to do it. I don't, and like honestly, if I ever left the church, I wouldn't ever do it, because I just don't want to. And I've seen really horrible side effects. One of my best friends, his brother literally died from alcohol poisoning. So I mean, I've seen bad things, and yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. And like honestly though, like my my faith and my belief in my church and the things that I've learned, it just absolutely strengthens all my relationships with my family, with my friend, helps me to be a better coworker, helps me to just be a better person in general, just helps me to live a life where I can help people and I can be there for people and actually want to do these things. And it makes me feel good when I do them. So it definitely gives me a lot of great structure and a lot of just a great kind of roadmap to live my life. And honestly, though, I don't have to do any of these things. And I can still go to church, and I can still be considered a great person. I do them because I want to do them. Like everything that I do in my life and in my church, I do it because I want to do it. Not because anyone's forcing me or making me or saying, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. No, because I want to do it. It makes me happy. So I'm gonna continue to do it probably forever. And let's see. I guess one of the big things, well, actually, before I mentioned that, I probably will touch on something in just one a minute. But so one of the things too that like maybe kind of might run me the wrong way, it's like people who really enforce their beliefs on other people. I mean, I think that like church should be more of a suggestion, and sometimes it can be a strong suggestion, but it shouldn't be forced on anyone, and nobody should be looking down their noses or like looking down upon anybody because of anything that they're doing. I mean, that there's things that are clear cut horrible things to do: murder, rape, like drugs, like there's clear cut things. But then there's a lot of things that are not so clear cut, like just because a person isn't going to church, just because they had a drink or they smoked some marijuana or smoked a cigarette. Like it's not really a huge deal, and it's something that you can encourage them to maybe not do those things, but don't really force it on anybody. I've seen people do that way too much. I'll just give one little example. So my best friend Mark, my family used to have these huge Super Bowl parties, and every year we'd like make all this food. We'd go over to my grandparents' house and watch the Super Bowl in their big TV room, and it was always a ton of fun. And I always invite my buddy Mark over to watch and have him bring some food and stuff. He's really good at like cooking wings and stuff, and so he would do that. But like he'd always come and he'd have these stories saying that it was this huge struggle to get out of the house. Like his wife didn't want him to go. They said, no, you can't watch TV on Sunday because it's the Sabbath. You can't go to this party. You're not supposed to be doing this. And it's like, so what? Like I'm just gonna call it out. Who cares about that stuff? It's Sunday. People choose to do what they want to do on a Sunday. If I have to go out shopping somewhere, if I have to go run some kind of errand, I feel like I have to hide it from all my Mormon friends. Like, oh no, I didn't go shopping. I didn't go to the store. No, I actually do that stuff. I do it almost every Sunday. So, and it's something that like I don't think that it's that's making my Sunday any less fulfilling. And I don't think that the Lord is looking down upon me for it. Just something that if I gotta do it, I gotta do it. And I'm still keeping the Sabbath day holy. I'm gonna watch TV. I'm gonna do what I want. I'll listen to music that's not spiritual sometimes on a Sunday, but I will have days where I don't do any of that stuff. I'll love it. I'll definitely have Sundays where I just go to church, listen to spiritual music, and just kind of have just a resting, relaxful day of studying and reading my scriptures and that kind of stuff. I will have those days, but I also have days where I do other things. It's going to happen. So I hope nobody would judge me for it, and then would never judge other people for it, because I just think that's wrong. So, so I wanted to kind of, let's see. I wanted to try to transition into politics a little bit. So I want to just touch on a few that are like part religion, part politics. So one thing is I have very strong beliefs when it comes to abortion. I believe that life is absolutely sacred, and that if you kill a baby, no matter what stage that it's in, and that's murder. Like I understand every woman has the right to choose, and there's certain times where I think that that's justified, like if there's rape or if there's incest or if there's like things like that. Those are horrible, terrible things. But I definitely believe that I mean the choice that the woman has whether or not to have sex and to get pregnant in the first place, besides rape, that the women chooses. They absolutely choose to have sex, and they risk getting pregnant. And if they do that, they either need to keep the child or they need to give it up for adoption once the child's born. I think that abortion is awful, and there really shouldn't be any way to justify, because what about the choice of the baby? The baby doesn't have a choice. It's just there, and it's just at the will and the whim of whatever the mother decides to do. And so, I mean, I really hope that if I was a fetus growing inside of my mother, that she would never choose to kill me for any reason. So yeah, that's just my thing. And then one other thing that's a little more on the political side is so I don't really understand transgender people. I do gotta say, I have nothing against them. I think that they're amazing, great people that deserve every right and every privilege that every other human being on earth decides, or I mean every other person has. But I don't really understand them. I don't understand how you can be both parts. I don't understand how you can once be a man and then all of a sudden just decide to become a woman out of nowhere, or to be a woman and then decide to become a man. I don't really understand that. I don't really understand why anyone would want that. But I mean, I've never experienced it. I've never dealt with it. So I really try not to really talk too much about this. So this may be like one of like 2 or 3 times in my whole life that I've ever even talked about it. And so I just don't really understand it, but I really like to. Like, if there's someone out there that can educate me as to like how transgenders work and what, like why they are who they are. I just really think that like whatever you're born with, that's what you're born with. If you're born with male genitalia, you're a male. If you're born with a female genitalia, you're a female. You may have other tendencies, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. With a male being very effeminate and a female being very, very masculine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's 100% great and fine. I just don't really understand transgenders. I mean, I don't know. I just I won't even say her name, but the girl from the movie Juno, who's now a man supposedly. I don't understand how that's even possible, but I guess it is possible. And now we have to call her by a male name instead of a female name, and I don't know. It's just I'm speechless. I don't really have any way to really describe it or really comprehend it. So I really try to stay away from it. But going into politics just a little bit. I mean, one thing is I don't really understand why everyone uh, uh, has this idea that we all have to believe the same thing. I mean, that's ridiculous. Why does everyone have to believe the same thing? Why do I have to believe what you believe? Why do you have to believe what I believe? We all have freedoms of choice. We all have freedoms to choose what we believe. We make our own decision. And like, I don't understand this culture that we've gotten into. Why, when we're like, everybody gets upset at the people because like you say something conservative and this person says something liberal, and it's like, I don't like what you said. You don't believe what I say, so I'm going to cancel you, and like, I don't want you in my life. Like I'll literally cancel from a YouTube channel for that reason. I expressed some conservative beliefs. I did it in a very serious way because it was concerning a very serious and sensitive subject. And they literally just called me up and they said, Jordan, you're done. We don't want to associate with you. It's affecting our channel. When no, it wasn't. So I think that a person should be able to believe however they believe, do whatever they want to do, and say whatever they want to say, as long as it doesn't cause serious harm to anybody. Like serious, I mean like physical harm or something that's like mentally detrimental to a person's health and well-being. Then say whatever you want. If you're going to spew some hate speech, that's your right to say it, and you should be able to say it without facing any consequences. That's what I think. I mean, I think that like we're just too quick. I think cancel culture is a huge problem in this country. It's one of the biggest evils that our country faces. People being silenced by Twitter, by Facebook, by other people. People lose their jobs. Gina Carano, she just gets canceled. Or like Chris Harrison on The Bachelor said something. I don't even know what's the whole story about him, but he's kind of getting canceled from The Bachelor. It's like really? Like, is this what we're like our country's come to? What happened to compassion? What happened to showing love? I mean, there's been even family members of mine. My mom's sister, we got into it on social media because she was bashing Trump and saying a horrible thing. So I fought back, and then we really got into it. And now like we're not really even speaking right now. And I think that's stupid. And I have plans to reach out to her and apologize and really try to bury the hatchet and make things right, because it's just not good. I mean, if someone's going to constantly bring in drama into your life, fine. You don't have to associate with them, but I mean, we should try to be respectful, show love and compassion about other people's beliefs, and actually like look at the words that they say and actually like think about it. Have a brain when you actually look at people's words. Like people calling out Gina Carano and saying she's being anti-Semitic and hateful towards Jews. No, she wasn't. And there was an interview actually today from Ben Shapiro, and whether you like him or not, I mean, he's a Jew, and he looked at her words and said no. Like from someone who's a prominent member of the Jewish community, I didn't find anything wrong with what you said. You're just comparing one society to another, and just saying why Jews were treated a certain way is why people today are treated a certain way. That's just my thought on the Gina Carano thing. And you can, I mean, yeah, I really hope that like I don't offend anybody by saying that, but it's honestly what I believe. I'll say that obviously I am conservative. I do believe in some more democratic, more liberal leaning things. Like I do believe that a lot of welfare should be provided to people that need it, and they shouldn't have to jump through huge hoops to be able to get it. I think people who have a mental disability should get the help that they need, and it should be made easy and readily available to them. I think healthcare should be provided to each and every American citizen at a very low cost or no cost. So I do believe in those things, but beyond that, I think that like our borders should be made very secure. I think that like we shouldn't just let anyone into our country. We shouldn't just, because like Joe Biden wants to open all the floodgates and just let like anyone from any country come here, and that's fine. Like I think anyone from any country should be able to come here, but there should be some order to it, and they need to find a way to monitor these people and to well, they should monitor them so they can see if anybody's trying to cause harm. So like when you have people coming into one country from another country, most people are probably going to be good, but you're going to have the bad apples that come in that are intent on doing harm and on causing harm, and so you got to have some way to be able to regulate that and to control that. And also too, this is one huge belief that I have, and I talked about it in one of my 1B200 interviews that I did. That's going to be released soon. But I think that if you were born and raised in the United States, you should have access to all the opportunities first. It should be for anyone who was born in another country and came to the United States. You should be able to have access to jobs. You should have access to benefits. You should have access to like all the opportunities, to getting into schools, to like just anything. Like you should have it first. If you were born and raised in America, you get those things before other people, and that is your right. It's not a privilege. It's a right that anyone who was born and raised in this country should have. And then you open up to other people. They can get those things too, but it's after all the Americans who were born here get those things. And it'd be vice versa if I went to their country. I think that they should receive all those rights and privileges, rights and like just all the opportunities first, and then me. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts there. Let's see. But just to kind of just touch one more time on the cancel culture thing that's going on in our country. Most of it has to do with big tech, and I hate big tech. I hate monopolies. I think they're a horrible, terrible thing. And then when you go back to like everybody believing the same way as everybody else, so like basically a cancel culture happens because one person or a company or a corporation wants you to believe exactly what they believe. And if you step out of line, or if you say something that they don't like or that's not in line with their view and their opinion, then they're going to get rid of you, and they're going to, whatever way they have to, they're going to start saying, well, we don't like what you're saying. It's not true. It's false, or it's not in line with the views of our company, and that's their right to do. But it's also a thing Hitler did. So I'm not going to say more than that, but it is something he did. So, but also, let's see. So I wrote down some notes here. So I do think that I'm not going to get into the whole election thing, because that's, I guess, part of what got me canceled from my other YouTube channel, which is crazy. But I do think that our elections were rigged. They're absolutely rigged. That there were lots of other countries involved, lots of people be behind the scenes, and I think that it's very corrupt that somehow Joe Biden became president when Donald Trump received way more votes, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands more votes, if not millions more. And so, I mean, there's no way you can tell me that old sleepy Joe Biden got more votes than President Barack Obama, the first black president to ever hold office. So there's just no way. It doesn't even make sense. And there's a lot of evidence out there, but I'm not gonna go into it. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Let's see. I do think so. When it comes to the Black Lives Matter organization, I will say that the Black Lives Matter as an organization is an evil, corrupt organization. I would even call them a terrorist group. I think that they're horrible, terrible people. But I think Black people are great and amazing and wonderful, and are completely separate from the Black Lives Matter organization. I think that like how in New York where they allowed people to write Black Lives Matter on a big like on the street, like I think it was like right in front of Trump Towers or something like that, and I thought that's like pretty sketchy, almost like you're supporting a terrorist organization, kind of in a way. But I mean, I understand that they're trying to support Black people, and I get it, and so I mean, I do believe all lives matter, but I mean, and I do think Black people matter, and Black people have definitely struggled and had it way worse than most people in our country, but so have a lot of other minorities. I don't believe in white privilege. I just don't even think that it's a thing. I think uh, just because my ancestor did something horrible to somebody doesn't mean I should have to pay any consequences from, because I'm literally someone who lives in a completely different generation. I've made my own life. I've had my own ups and downs and my own struggles, and I've dealt with a lot of things, and I've struggled a lot, and so I don't feel like I have any type of privilege. I just don't, and I don't think that I think that's just some concept that people made up to help them feel better about themselves. I'm sorry, but I just do. And I mean, but I do think though that all people should be treated equally. I think it's terrible things that happen to all minorities. I think it's terrible, but I mean, I think that I mean, all we can do is just do our best to be the best people that we can. And I don't really know. I mean, this is something that I'm actually not really sure on. That that's part of it. That if anyone really deserves preferential treatment over the other, that part I just am not sure about. I have to think more on that. But that's my thoughts there. But like I love Black people. I have some Black friends that are great, amazing people. I have friends that are Latino, that are Asian. I mean, I have friends from all walks of life, and they're great people. And like I treat everyone from every race, every nationality, of every skin color exactly the same. And I don't think that the white people, as white people, speaking of someone that is white, should be trying to go out and to do anything for these people without asking them what they want first. I mean, it's like so many white people are so quick to just like, oh, we need to stand up for Blacks, or we need to stand up for Asians, or stand up for Native Americans, or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, we should stand up for them, but like in what way? Like what do they want us to do? Like, have you gone out and have you asked those people, what do you want us to do for you? How can we help you? How can we be a benefit to you and make your life easier? We should be asking these people what they actually want. And I think if you ask them, you actually be pretty surprised as to what they actually do want. So, I mean, I would like to know, because I'd like to help anyone that I can, like especially minorities, like anyone from any other race or country or culture. What would you like me to do for you? Like how can I help? How can I be like a benefit to you? How can I just help you to just feel loved and accepted, and to feel like you're just like everybody else? I mean, let me know, and I would definitely like to try my best to do it. Let's see. So I'm gonna jump into my thoughts on 2020 and coronavirus. So for me, like, this is a very kind of controversial subject for me. So basically, like, I don't believe in wearing masks. Like I think masks are basically useless. You're literally talking about a microscopic organism that, like, I can't remember like how many microns wide it is, but they say like basically if you took all of the coronavirus in the entire world, all of it, you could literally fit inside of one Coke can. So I mean, that just tells you how small this virus is. And like, I don't think that a mask is going to protect you from anything. They're literally a microscopic organism that could pass through anything. And it's like you really are going to tell me that a mask is going to help protect me or help protect you? I don't really think so. But at the same time, I'm willing to wear a mask if you ask me to. So for the most part, I'm probably not going to put one on. But if you were to ask me, I always have a mask right in my pocket, and it's absolutely no problem for me to just throw it on to just help you feel safe, help you feel better. I definitely, but I do believe that things like hand sanitizer or like Lysol that kills viruses, that kind of thing. Like I believe in that. I don't know exactly what hand sanitizer kills because it literally says on the certain soaps, certain hand sanitizer that it kills 99% of all bacteria. The virus is a virus. It's a coronavirus. It's not coronabacteria. It's a virus. It's a completely different thing. So does it actually kill the coronavirus? I'm not a scientist. Maybe. I don't know. So, but I'm always going to use hand sanitizer whenever I walk by at the store and they got a little hand sanitizer. And then I usually carry some in my car. I always try to keep everything around me clean. I wouldn't say that I'm really a germaphobe. I'm more of a neat freak, that I just like things like clean and orderly. But I do try to clean up my living area as much as I can. During this whole pandemic, I try to stay home more, but I don't really feel like I should have to be quarantined, especially by law. I don't really think that, because I'm perfectly fine and healthy. But if you guys feel like you want to stay home, if anybody feels like that, then sure, more power to you. You can go ahead. So, and I'm not really going to dive deep into this, but I do believe though that the coronavirus is no more deadly than like so many diseases out there. You literally have the flu. You have like West Nile disease. You have SARS. You have dengue fever. You have yellow fever. You have so many different things like that. And let's see, my computer went into sleep mode. Okay, making sure that we're still live. Okay, we're still good. Yeah, but you have so many different things like that, and like all those diseases, I would say are worse. You literally have a 95% survival rate for people who don't have pre-existing conditions. So if you have pre-existing conditions, I get it. Like coronavirus is real, and I'm lucky that I've always had a really strong immune system. Always been super healthy. I don't get sick hardly at all. But there's been a lot of people out there where coronavirus has really affected them a lot. And coronavirus has been a contributing factor to a lot of deaths. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily the main reason, maybe in some cases, but not in all cases. And yeah, so like my heart goes out to anybody who's been severely affected by coronavirus, because like it's definitely been a terrible thing, and so yeah, I wouldn't wish that on really anybody, but for me, it hasn't really affected me, so I've been very blessed, very thankful. So yeah, but and I do think that like I don't know, but I do think that there's a possibility that the coronavirus could have been manufactured by China and then released on the rest of the world. I definitely know that the Chinese had a hand in whatever's going on with coronavirus, and I think that one of the big reasons is to instill fear in all of us and to make us scared, to make us like, if you look at it, so you have all the big tech companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Twitter, Facebook, like all these big tech companies, they're thriving. They're absolutely thriving right now. When small businesses are suffering, there's like movie theaters that are going out of business, restaurants going out of business, and they're closing down all these small businesses, but they're not closing down the big ones, which you can still spread the virus at a Walmart. You can still spread the virus at a big grocery store. There's other ways to get groceries to the people. It's just, yeah. So, a lot of it just doesn't really make sense why they're only closing small businesses to me. And so it's just one of those things that like, I don't really think that the coronavirus is that bad, but I am willing to wear a mask if you ask me to. I'm probably not going to have one on till you ask me to, but when you do, I'll put it on. And my work definitely requires us to wear masks, so I wear it for work. So there's that. And then so I was just going to mention this just like super quick, but like I am not a woke person. I'm not someone who really likes that term. I mean, I just live life. I don't really need to be woke to like all kinds of like issues going on. I don't even look that much into woke to really know the full true meaning of it. So I'll just leave that there. But so hopefully I haven't like alienated too many people. Hopefully, like, you can respect my beliefs, I can respect your beliefs, and we can all be able to just come together in love and compassion and peace. But really, the only other thing that I really want to say about politics is that like I feel like so one of the reasons why I speak up on social media, why I post things that are political, because I want to be able to stand up for what I believe is right. And I want to be able to do something that can actually make a difference in the world. And I'm not really sure how to really do that doesn't cause huge problems. It doesn't stir up the pot and like make someone feel ostracized or feel some type of way about it. I just don't know. And so, I mean, I post things on social media from time to time because I don't really know any other way that can really make a big difference. I mean, I'm definitely never going to go to a protest because I'm not really into that kind of thing. I don't care about protesting. I don't think protesting does anything. I think it just like upsets people. Well, it does both. So I think that it does do something, but it doesn't really make a huge difference. I feel like it'll make some people feel empowered, and some people feel like they're really going out there to fight and to make a difference. But at the same time, I just see it like causing like chaos and destruction as well. And then I don't really see what the result is in the end. I mean, maybe I'm not really noticing it, but other than like negative results of things getting destroyed and people getting upset and feelings hurt and all that kind of stuff, like, and even in the worst case scenario, people getting killed. Like, I was in Seattle during the whole Chaz Chop like revolution where they're like, oh, they're just having a summer of love. That's what the mayor of Seattle said. And literally, I took over, I think it was like 6 blocks of downtown Seattle. They literally ran the police department out of one of their precincts. And I was working in downtown Seattle at the time. Luckily, I go to multiple different stores for work. And so there's certain stores we couldn't service. We couldn't go there for like 2 months. But we went to all of our other stores in the meantime, and I went past the Chaz Chop and saw that it was just like a hellhole, pretty much. Like, it was just like people burning things in barrels and graffiti everywhere and trash everywhere and just like gross, weird looking things like all over the place. And then by the end of it, 2 people got killed, and still the mayor of Seattle let it go on. But then they said that they're going to come after the mayor's house. They're going to go after and they're going to destroy her house. And then the mayor woke up and was like, all right, we need to shut it down immediately. And when they threatened her house, they literally the next day they sent all the police in to just shut it down. And I want to actually say the mayor's name. It's a female mayor. Let's see. Mayor of Seattle. Let's see. Her name was Jenny Durkin. She's an idiot. This is a complete and total waste of space to be a mayor. She has no idea what she's doing. Did a terrible job. I'll just say that. But let's see. And then also too, when it comes to all the shutdowns too, like I don't think things need to be continued to be shut down. We have a vaccine. I probably am not going to get it because I have a strong, healthy immune system. I've been working in retail, surrounded by by thousands, if not millions of people all this time haven't gotten coronavirus. I've been tested multiple times. I haven't gotten it. So, yeah. And also too, I don't know all the ingredients that they put in there. If someone can maybe give me a list, or I might be able to find it online. And then if I'm like, I'd want to verify it with like, I don't know, poison control and doctors, and make sure what I'm putting into my body isn't something that's poisonous or like harmful. And if it's not, then I might consider it, maybe. But probably I'm not gonna get it. But let's see. But yeah, so I mean, I think that's enough on politics. I probably spent too much time on politics, honestly. But I wanted to say it. I'm going to say it in one video, and then I'm just going to like really try to lay low. I may have a few posts on my social media from time to time, but not much. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about goals. So what some of my goals are. So I have some areas I wanted to cover: financial, physical, spiritual, mental, some short-term and some long-term, and some family goals. So basically I'll just I try to go around quick, but one of my big financial goals is I want to be able to find a good way to invest my money this year, and I want to be able to fix my credit. That my credit's been something that's not been very good for a long time, because when I was 18 and just young and dumb, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get all these credit cards. I can buy whatever I want, and I'll just pay it back later. Who cares? And then I didn't pay it off right away, and then the interest just built up until it was just so much that there's no way I could ever pay it, and so it made my credit kind of just horrible because of that. So, and actually at this time when I go online to I try to look at my credit score, it actually says that I don't have credit. So I don't know why that is, but that's what's showing up now. So yeah, I'm in the process of trying to take care of that, fix up my credit, and find a good way to invest my money and save up so I can travel more. I definitely want to travel more. So and then also my physical goals. So I definitely want to work out way more. They've had all the gyms closed. So I mean, like my physicality has been a little bit of a struggle. Hang on, I'm gonna silence my phone. It keeps wanting to go off. Okay, but yeah, my physical, like trying to stay in shape has been a little bit of a struggle. I had times where I would work out literally 7 days a week. I probably did that for a couple of years before I moved to Washington. But now they've had all the gyms closed. They've had like no way to really work out. I've got a few kind of light weights at my house, but I'm not really heavy enough to do a real true workout. So I definitely try. I have this thing called Beachbody that me and my wife do, and I try my best to do it when I can. But now I just have crazy work hours, so it's really hard to find time. But I really need to make it more of a priority. And then also I need to change up my diet. I don't think my diet's terrible. I definitely need to just watch calories and like what I eat. Maybe well, actually, definitely drink less soda, and because I kind of got in the habit of drinking soda now. I don't really even like water all that much. I mean, it's okay, but so definitely do that. I've already kind of pretty much cut out candy and other junk food for the most part, unless you put either a cheesecake, a cookie, or like maybe like pie in front of me. It's just hard to say no to that, or a brownie, like any of those baked goods. Like those are weaknesses of mine. So yeah, I have a little bit of a tough time with that. So those are some things I really want to watch and just try to find some healthy ways to eat. Maybe a Mediterranean type of diet. Maybe just eating more like beef and chicken and stuff like that. But who knows? I mean, I don't really want to have any kind of like strict diet. Like diets don't work for me. I don't like diets, so I just gotta watch calories and eat healthy, and I just gotta be strict about it, and I gotta work out. Definitely, I want to work on my spirituality, definitely work on some of those areas that I struggle with my own faith, and then read my scriptures more, watch more talks by some of the leaders of our church, and just really just like dive into that more. Really just like be conscious. Already put up a picture of Jesus that my mom gave me years ago in our apartment, and a picture of the temple. So I have those in there to just help remind me to just I just make good decisions. Don't let my mind wander. Just, I mean, focus more on the Lord, because we've been so blessed, and all the things that He's given us is amazing. So yeah, I definitely want to focus more on those type of things. And then with my mental stuff, so I'm definitely working on my on my autism diagnosis. So I have already had one appointment. So listen to this. So I literally called over 20 different places to try to get testing in the state of Washington for autism. And I literally couldn't do it. Nobody was testing in the state of Washington. They kept either just turning me down, or saying that they don't test, or referring me to other places. And I was just bouncing around from place to place to place to place. When I finally found one place, I found this one place called Yellow Brick Clinic or something that does testing. And this one doctor literally covers the whole entire state of Washington. And they're based in Renton, Washington, which is not too far outside of Seattle. Renton, that's how you say it. But yeah, and so I had one appointment with her. She didn't really want to touch on any of the autism stuff. She just wanted to talk about ADHD and just some different medications, just like the rest of them. Like that's how it was the first time that I tried to get diagnosed. They wouldn't really even touch on the autism stuff. I don't get it. I don't know why, but I have 2 more appointments coming up. They're short ones, which I hate short appointments with a counselor, because you never have enough time to really talk about all the things you need to talk about. And so, yeah, so I actually have one on this month on the 25th, in just a few days. And then I am going to have one, I think, in either March and maybe a third one actually in April too, I think. So they really space it out, because she's covering the whole state of Washington. Let's see. And then I think those basically kind of cover my short-term goals. I mean, I definitely want to try to just keep working on my YouTube stuff every day, and just keep trying to progress that, find ways to get more of the community involved, more family and friends, find ways to help get this channel monetized, because long term, I want to try to do YouTube long term. If I can do this the rest of my life, that's what I want to do. I want to monetize this thing, and I want to find different ways to just make this channel fun and exciting and interesting. So if you have any ideas for me, like anything, like some ideas for shows, ideas for like topics for some of the current shows that we have, whether it's Two Ranker Fights, Blind Spots, Live from Movie Hero, it's Saturday night, just like any of those shows that we do, I definitely am open to some ideas, or even for new shows. So, and then some family goals. I mean, basically my family, the most important family that I have right now, is me and my wife, and I'm definitely trying to find ways to just bring us closer together. I find ways to bring us closer with my extended family and with her extended family, and like find ways to just bring us together and find some more date ideas. Definitely want to go on some more dates now that things are opening up, and find ways I can just serve her and just treat her like a queen every single day. Just do amazing, nice things for her, and just tell her that I love her every single day. Just give her just like lots of hugs and kisses, and just find just like all different ways that I can serve her, whether it's just doing something nice, making her favorite meal, or taking her to one of her favorite places, or watching one of her favorite movies, or just all those little things. I think the little things do add up, and they do make a difference. So So yeah, and definitely those are some things, some family type of goals. And one of the things about my physical goals, I don't know if it's just genetics, but I feel like I've had times where I've worked out a ton. I've had times where I barely even work out at all, and then everywhere in between. And basically, my whole entire life, I've steadily gained 5 pounds every single year. Like basically, I don't ever lose weight. I always try to lose weight. I've even like tried fasting. I've tried different things, but like somehow I end up gaining 5 pounds every year. I don't really gain much more than that, but it's been like a steady, just small kind of incline that just is slow. So I don't know what it is. I'm not as skinny as I once was. I really wish that I was. I wish that I could have some miracle cure or thing that will just like make me lose all the weight, but it's just, I don't know. It's a struggle. And then within those years, my weight will fluctuate a little bit. I'll lose a little bit here and there, but then I'll gain a little bit back where like by the end of the year, it usually averages out to be about 5 pounds a year that I'm gaining. So and sometimes that's fat, and then sometimes that's muscle mass, because I had times where like actually for a few years I was doing a lot of weight training and like lifting tons of weights and stuff. So I definitely had that too. But so who knows there? But yeah, basically like so. I'm gonna wrap this up, but it's been fun talking to you guys. It's just kind of doing this deep dive. It makes me a little nervous about putting this out there, but I'm gonna do it, and I really hope that I didn't offend anybody. Like that was my goal. I mean, I really gave some strong religious and some political views and stuff, but I mean, I respect all your views, no matter what they are, and I'm always willing to have a conversation. Always willing to look at other facts and opinions, and to have my eyes opened up to some new and some different things. So yeah, I mean, I'm always willing to have the conversation, but in the end, I just want to say that the Schmodown community is the most amazing community online, and also too, just like all my amazing family and friends, we built up a great community there. And so yeah, like I really hope that we can go forward with just peace and happiness and love and respect for one another and compassion. So that's something that I really hope we can do going forward. And speaking of going forward, I'm just thinking of my life going forward. And I mean, I do wonder, like, will I ever be successful in life? Will I ever take this YouTube thing to the leaps and bounds that I really want to have it go to? Will I ever be able to have an amazing career where I can make tons and tons of money? Part of me wants to say yes, but part of me says it almost seems impossible. So I'm always going to try, and I'm never going to give up. Never say never. So I'm certainly going to try. But yeah. So that's that. This has been a deep dive into my life, and hopefully now you can kind of understand me a little better, and some of my thoughts and views of the world, some of the things that I struggle with, my ups and downs, but I definitely have a blessed life. I feel like my life is like infinitely blessed. Like I have so much to be thankful for, and that's one of the things. Like if you're ever feeling down, or you're feeling like, how am I going to make it through the next day? Like I can't do it. I'm just really struggling. Just think of anything that you might have in your life to be thankful for. And I think that's like one thing that can just really propel you forward. Because I promise you, no matter what situation you're in, even if you're homeless on the streets, there is definitely still something to be thankful for. You still have clothes on your back, or you have something. And also too, I would encourage you to do more service too. I think that's one thing that when you're doing something nice for for another person, or for your fellow man, or your neighbor, or your family member, or your spouse, or whoever it might be. Just take a bit of time to just go out of your way for somebody, because I guarantee you it'll really make a big difference to them. And whether they show it or not, on the inside, I know that it really means a lot to them. And there's really no way for you to be unhappy when you're serving someone and doing something nice, just giving of yourself and just putting yourself and your needs last, and putting it others first. So I mean, I think that like definitely being grateful and for what you have, and service are like two of the best ways, like two of the biggest keys to happiness, at least in my life. Those are the things that have always helped me. So, but anyways, though, this has been a deep dive. This has been my spiritual and mental deconstruction for Jordan Anderson here on this channel. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, but I wanted to do it one time, and maybe I might revisit this in a year or two. We'll see. But yeah, that has been my thoughts. So I will sign off, and hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you later.